Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, when we take the time to speak with small cap executives about big news at their companies. With us today, I'm happy to have them both back. Richard Cindric, he's Managing Director, and Andy Dhaliwal, VP of Sales and Distribution at Primo Nutraceuticals. The company trades on the CSC and the stock symbol PRMO. For our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under 8BV, and for our friends in the US under BUGVF. For those of you who are new to the story, quick summary: the company has multiple facets despite the hard time going on in the industry right now. First, they're providing strategic capital to the thriving cannabis cultivation sector through ownership and development of commercial real estate and farm-friendly properties. Two, they're providing fully built-out turnkey facilities equipped with state-of-the-art growing infrastructure to cannabis growers and processors. Their flagship hemp project in Oregon harvested a total of 13,000 pounds of dried biomass of hemp at the end of the year. And finally, the company owns 39% of Thrive Nutrition Products, who's done multi-million dollars in sales from both e-commerce and multiple 45 locations or so around Canada. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Happy to be
Appreciate
here.
it. It's good to be back.
First of all, hope you and everybody at home that's listening via podcast or watching on video, hope you guys are doing okay through this COVID crisis, because look, both of you guys are from your homes, as we can see in the background, and that's really saying something, hey guys, about what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty serious time, and everybody should be doing their part by keeping a social distance and working from home as much as possible. So we're on board.
Yeah, and this kind of proves that you can get a lot of things done just by using great online software. So glad to hear it. Let's get straight to the business, guys. Richard, you guys had a couple press releases. The first one was a corporate update that you put out. Talk to us about that corporate update and what that means for people who are shareholders of the company and watching.
Yeah, this corporate update should have came out a bit sooner, but we were reluctant to put it out given where the markets were going. So we thought we'd wait a little bit. But yeah, this is a pretty significant press release. We for those of you that didn't know, we had a little setback with our audited financial statements and came back trading March 5th. And to make sure that this does not happen again, we had Mark Bechtel come on board as corporate secretary. He's a lawyer in Vancouver with extensive experience in the capital markets, specializing with the emerging markets like ours. So we're really happy and lucky to have him on board. And to assist him is Cheryl Dillon to act as the corporate governance consultant. She has tons of experience working with TSX and CSC companies. So, with this team growing with Andy and Mark and Cheryl, we're set to start to make some bigger moves in 2020. Very excited.
And that's a strong message to the market, right? That that despite whatever issues you guys had with the cease trade and all that you guys are putting together the right people in place while you and Andy and the group are running the company. You got great corporate governance going on in the background.
Well, you'll see that we put out a voluntary state cease trade order. We knew that the audit was going to take a little bit longer, and given the timing that it ended up in right before Christmas, it took a little bit longer to get a hold of people. One, they were away, so this audit really didn't start until mid-January. So, we put in measures to make sure this doesn't happen again. And us being a junior company trading March 1st at a penny, there's only one way up from here, and that's forward.
All right, so let's talk about that, Richard. I mentioned a few things that the company's doing, which is great. This is no one-trick pony. You're finally back to the business of being in business. Kind of give us an overview of where each of those initiatives stand right now and how they're looking going forward.
Yeah, for sure. So again, for those that aren't too familiar with Primo, we were Bougainville. That was simply just the name of the shell, but our business was changed to Primo Nutraceuticals to better represent what we are about. We are a company that is in 4 sectors of the market, which is production, processing, retail, and branding. Right now, under the production and processing umbrella, we have our Washington State marijuana farm and our Oregon State hemp farm. With the branding, we've acquired Thrive Nutrition, and hopefully sooner than later, we'll be announcing some sort of a partnership with a retail store, but we're a ways from that just yet. But with the retail and branding, I think this is where you're going to start to see a lot more activity on our end. The production and processing, that market is pretty much dominated by the bigger Tweeds, Organigrams, and so forth. So, you know, with the acquisition of Thrive, which is a huge up for us, a lot of potential. Thrive is, you know, obviously has products across Canada in Nutrition House, and we look to do similar acquisitions like Thrive.
Hey, Andy, let me ask you a question. Because you've got, you're the king of Thrive at the end of the day, right? You're the president of that subsidiary or that division, and you are the catalyst behind all of its success. How are things going there, given what's happening with the COVID-19 pandemic? Because you've got great e-commerce, but you've also got retail. You know, how does that change things in the short term and going forward?
Yeah, so we've shifted our strategy to make sure that we focus on communicating with our customers digitally and just informing them of what all the different things we're doing from a manufacturing and production perspective to ensure that the products are still safe, still sanitized, and still getting to their doorsteps in a sort of timely manner as much as possible, given sort of the postage delays and some of the shipping and logistical delays that we can come to expect right now. So, you're right, things have slowed down on the retail front, but we look forward to putting our resources behind the digital campaigns and going direct to consumer instead.
But fair to say also that slowdown is going to be temporary, because it's not as if people have lost interest in your product or in the category. It's just strictly a direct correlation to people self-isolating as a result of COVID-19, correct?
Yeah, consumers haven't really gone anywhere, and consumer interest hasn't necessarily waned. It's more just logistical constraints preventing people from really participating in the economy, and CBD and hemp falls under that as well. So we're all kind of suffering right now, but we're kind of lining up our resources to make sure we come back stronger than we were.
Guys, let me ask you both a question. Maybe Richard, you want to flag this one. How do you guys feel about the future of the cannabis space? Because, it hasn't lived up to expectations yet, but we all know it's going to be, a big industry. So what does it look like just in 2020? Maybe look forward to 2021 as well, guys.
Yeah, I'll start with this one, and then maybe Andy can follow through. I think that it's obviously going through some tough times. I know that there were a couple of deals on the table that got pulled the minute that the COVID epidemic was made relevant. So I think that for companies like ours, we're in a very good position since we have a very low burn rate, low capital overhead. There's not much more to go lower than a penny. We're at the lowest. So I think for companies like us, we're going to be able to withstand and last however long this takes. Not so much for those blue chips that have, lost more than half of their position. But, the cannabis space in general, I don't see it, going away. Demand is definitely going to keep going. I think these capital markets is just what we got to be patient with for them to return. But I think once the capital markets return, you're going to see those relevant companies that are here for the long term still be there. Those that were just looking to make a one-trick pony type of proposal into this industry aren't going to be around. So the cream will float to the top, as they say.
The other press release that you guys put out, and forgive me that I'm reading it, is Primo Nutraceuticals COVID-19 preparedness and support. Commitment to join forces with celebrity-driven brand Beauty Kitchen to produce a hand sanitizer. And by the way, for everyone at home who listens to that and might be rolling their eyeballs, this isn't Primo trying to hop into a hot, quick space. They're going to be giving away this product for free, which is a great public service. So let's talk about that and the impetus of that, guys.
I think that we've recognized early that this is truly a serious matter, and I think it's our corporate obligation to address every aspect of our operations, from not working at the office, keeping our distance, and looking out for our friends and family and our community. So yeah, this is not a ploy to make a quick dollar. We plan to have about 1,000 samples given away for free to the communities down in Vancouver, maybe the ones that aren't as fortunate, maybe on Main Street and in the areas that require it the most, as well as to corporate associates and clients, and even people off the SkyTrain. We've got enough to hand out there, and just do our part in mitigating the spread of any kind of germs.
I'll tell you what I found interesting is that as part of this, it's not as if you guys said, hey, we're just going to team up with some local George's local little manufacturing guy, which would be great. Don't get me wrong. The fact that you're doing it is fantastic. But on top of that, this is a celebrity-driven brand, Beauty Kitchen. So what does that say about your capabilities at Primo that you're able to get a celebrity-driven brand like Beauty Kitchen on board as a partner here?
Yeah, I think it's a really great opportunity. This is a prelude to more to come. Our first step was doing a deal with Andy and Thrive, and instead of just reinventing the wheel, team up with companies that are currently doing it. So again, Celebrity Kitchen is a celebrity-driven brand founded by a celebrity socialite, a bubbly LA social media personality. She's got a passion for looking and feeling good, and has developed her all-natural beauty and skincare product lines that she launched back in 2012. So the company manufactures fresh handmade beauty care products like cosmetics, and again, she came from a launch in 2012 off of YouTube. It was like a do-it-yourself type of beauty recipes made from common kitchen household ingredients. And then the series basically blossomed to over 4 million viewers, and has been featured on Forbes, Bravo, MTV, the New York Post, and has some large following celebrities following her, like Sean Puffy Combs, Christina Milian, and George Lopez, to name a few. So I think that we're pretty lucky, and look for more joint or more news with Beauty Kitchen and companies like Thrive and Beauty Kitchen. And maybe Andy could comment on what this means.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, Andy. Maybe you could talk about that, because as soon as I saw that press release, I said to myself, okay, a great partnership here on a great public service, but that's a lot of effort, because I know what it's like to get through to a celebrity-driven brand. So does this set up the possibility of working together in the future?
Absolutely, and that's something I was really excited about this deal for. The guys at Beauty Kitchen, not only do they have the celebrity-driven communications and brand awareness possibilities, but they have deep experience when it comes to product formulations and putting together products that are effective and have the communications reach. So the products that actually help people and travel the furthest in terms of marketing and distribution as well. So I've been keen on this deal for a while, and we look forward to really getting in the lab with Beauty Kitchen and seeing what kind of products and collaborations we can crank out.
The great thing that's coming off of you guys is that despite the fact that cannabis has gone through a rough ride, and now the world economy is going to go through a bit of a stall here for 30, 60 days. Well, we're a couple of weeks into it, so let's say another 45 days. You guys sound fantastically optimistic about your business lines and each one of your initiatives. It's not as if you're on here saying, well, George, look, we had to dump the Oregon hemp farm because we couldn't figure that out, and just not enough resources, and we had to divert, do something different, start all over. You guys are gung-ho. So Richard, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for the company?
I think the next 6 to 12 months is going to be focusing in on the brand element of our company, helping Thrive reach its potential, as well as explore the retail space. I think that our production and processing part of the business is enough for now, and it's time to get the name of Primo, Thrive, and Beauty Kitchen out there to the world, and introduce some products in collaboration with Thrive and Beauty Kitchen.
Well, there's a big hole out there, that's for sure, right? Because a lot of companies just aren't out there using their cash to market. They're hurting. They're trying to figure out, these big conglomerates are harder to stop than little companies like Primo, right? At the end of the day, these big guys have got things in motion. They can't just stop them and change direction. So you've got a real head start on people. Andy, what do you see as the future of hemp and CBD?
Yeah. Well, we pride ourselves on remaining asset light. These times are going to be trying, but we'll shift our efforts to be more brand focused and perhaps develop a better relationship with the consumer on the digital channels, and then go after retail once the economy recovers and once those things are available to us. But with regards to hemp and CBD, we think these things are going to continue to be helpful. Given COVID being a sort of strain of flu, CBD, has shown to, anecdotally at least help people with some of the symptoms in terms of helping people alleviate some of those. So I think wellness products will continue to have a place in our sort of hearts and minds and markets in the next 6 to 12 months. And we look forward to being sort of the upfront primary brand driving that growth in that sector.
Well, Andy, how about the fact that on top of just, COVID itself, several magnitudes more people are going through incredible amounts of stress right now. And talk to me about how, because I know that CBD definitely has, major benefits there. So does that become a focus as well? Because I get the feeling that, this is I think the virus is going to pass by sooner, but the mental stress it's putting on people is going to last longer. Is that something that you try and key in on?
Yeah, it's definitely an expectation that we have. This just sort of hangover from the COVID of this lasting anxiety and perhaps a little bit of trauma with regards to the recollection of the whole experience and even the sort of fundamental ways it may change our behavior in our society. I mean, just the way we interact with each other and the way we relate to each other is going to be different. So, remaining asset light allows us to stay on top of these things and adapt as things change. But for now, we think the wellness category is still something that has a lot of vitality in it, and it's still doing a lot of good for the people as well. So we're quite proud of leading the way there.
Richard, last word to you before we sign off, because this has been a great interview. I got to tell you, more upbeat than I was expecting. Not because of Primo itself, just because of what's going on in the world, the cannabis industry. Last word to you about everyone, especially your shareholders.
I just want to communicate to the shareholders that we're really happy to be back trading. We've only got one way to go, and that's up. We're in a very good position to be able to sustain this downturn comparatively to companies that have lost half of their market share. Our stock hasn't dropped at all. So, there's only one way to go up from here. We're very excited. We're not going anywhere, and we plan to get some news out to our shareholders, showing them exactly how we fit into this market.
Well, that probably explains a lot of your confidence, guys, on behalf of both of you. So, thanks for this interview, because we haven't been together since December, if I remember correctly, and a lot's gone on. I mean, man, December seems like a year ago, not 3 months ago for everybody.
That's right.
So, I'm glad we got this catch, and more importantly, I'm glad to see the confidence for people who are watching. You can see it, even for everyone who's listening. If you're listening via Spotify or podcast channels, you can hear the confidence. So thanks for joining us, guys. I really appreciate this.
Hey, thanks for having us, George.
Appreciate it.
You've been watching Richard and Andy over at Primo Nutraceuticals. The company trades on the CSC under the stock symbol PRMO. For our friends in the US under BUGVF, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under 8BV. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.